Hey everyone, good Sunday evening. Welcome back to the shop. As you noticed by the last video, it's going to be a lot of little piecemeal stuff from here on out till I get ready to cover. What I've kind of got accomplished since the last video is very little. I just did a little more work on the tail. This plane's actually sitting upside down for once. What I pretty much did, I've got the I got the hinge, whatever you want to call it, the little control horn that's brazed to it. I got everything somewhat straightened out. Had to let me bring it a little closer, just so you can kind of see what he's doing over here. Oh, and there's just no room in the shop. All right, what I did, I came in, I kind of ground down the braze joint, the brazing that did, because there was more junk braze on than there was good braze. There's enough to hold everything on. I'm not concerned about this at all. That thing's rock solid. So anyway, I've got it so that I've got probably maybe 33, 34, somewhere. It's about 33 degrees. Down elevator and pretty darn near close to 45 up. But as you notice, this little part disappeared. So if I bring it in here, I can measure it. It's probably between 35 and 40 degrees, which will be much more than sufficient for what this plane's going to do, because you're not going to see too many snap rolls in a great big plane like this, or, you know, my 3D flying is up in the air. Alright, so anyway, here's kind of where I'm stymied as far how I want to do this, because the control rods that come through, let me slide this up so you can kind of see it. Oops. Nah. Give me an hour, I'll get it. Alright, what this is heavy duty Sullivan goldenrod. And I don't have a problem using this at all. It's really good, strong stuff. And the way it's put together, it's got a push-pull system. Excuse me, a pull-pull, push-pull. Yeah, sure. It's kind of like a push-pull-pull, push-pull, push-pull. What it does is it works. Let me just get the whole thing out. Here's where the servo is going to connect to it. This was a bell crank that was set up. I'm not going to go with this. I'm just going to get a 1.5 inch, probably a 2-inch servo horn for the Savick 225 inch something. Those servos. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on, and then this is going to attach to the servo. So I don't have an issue with these. My problem I have is if you saw how sloppy these connect, and I don't know if you're going to see it, there's probably a 1/16 of an inch of play, and that's how they flew it before. That is not how it will be flown again. So I've got a couple. I'm bumping everything today. So I've got a couple sort of plans, because this is 3/8, or excuse me, 440 going in. From one of my old business ventures, I've got, if I can find it, and I probably can't. Let me look over here once real quick before I go grab another one. There it is. I'm making a mess. I've got these little gems, and this can come on in and get bolted to the side of this. So if I run a 440 through and put a nut on it, I can get that down to maybe 30 degrees. And I'd like to get a little bit more. Now, Dubro make some clevises that you can use for control rods on from the lower wing to the upper wing on biplanes. I've used those in the past. I think it's gonna have enough where I can attach it to it and not have it hit here on the bottom of this. I may make a run over to Dubro, because I work about 1.5 miles from Dubro. So I may just run over to Dubro and just pick up 2 of those. I think they come more than 2 of those. But pick those up and bring them back and just see if they'll work. Because if they'll work here, I could possibly use them on the ailerons too, but I don't think so. On the ailerons, I can use those. So those won't fail on me. So anyway, that's something that I'll pick up at Dubro sometime this week, maybe even on Wednesday. I got Wednesday for a day off, and that's going to have to be my editing day, or Thursday. I don't know. I got to put together a video for you guys this Friday, because I've been doing them every Friday so far. So we'll see how well things go. So anyway, that's pretty much where this part's at the moment. So this is kind of just in holding until I get those connectors. But the tail itself is all put together. I just have to finish sanding. I started sanding things. What I'm working on sanding right now is just up in here, because I've got to fill. There's a couple little spots I got to come in with some balsa, put a little sheet down, and then sand it. Because this is good. Now, let me zoom in real quick. Here's another little potential issue. Let's see if I can get this stabilized enough so you can see it. As you can see, this is a little on the loose side. And I really don't like that, because that helps attach everything, the wing to the plane. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got some more spruce. Let me back it up. So I do have plenty of spruce that'll work in this size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to rip down another piece of spruce, the same width here. So I'll have to get a quick measurement. And I'm going to run a block of spruce from here all the way down to here, and that's going to be all epoxied in. So that's going to give me a much confident, stronger set in here. So I'll do it for this side, then I'll do it for the other side, and then at this point I don't need to put any balsa here. I just need to do a little wedge of balsa in the back, right back in here. Just to fill this gap in, and you can see the way, you can't see it, but the way this has dropped. This backing plate is a different size than the root plate where the wing bolts up to it. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably just come in with balsa and fill that too and sand it down, because this on the back doesn't matter. Once everything gets put into place here and I cover it, then it's just plain done. Because what I want to do is I want to come in on top of this little window right here, and it's going to come in taper from here out to the edge of this, just so that this is going to have something behind it. So it's kind of a goofy little setup. They didn't really do a good job up in here when they originally covered it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and fix the problem now, so then it's something I won't have to worry about in the future. I hope, because this is going to be a goofy little section right here on the plane anyway. So pretty much that's how I'm going to be working along through the next couple days. I don't know if I'll make it down here early tomorrow morning. I might, but other than that, I'll probably be just pulling some nights down here. I can't work outside anymore. The mosquitoes will pick you up and carry you away. They're brutal. So even the ones that get into the shop, you come in here to work. There's one right there on the ceiling. you come in here to work, and of course they start biting. So the first 10-15 minutes of being in the shop, you're just trying to kill the mosquitoes. So yeah, all that rain is terrible. We still have roads flooded out. I haven't been able to take my normal route to work for 2.5 weeks now, because the Fox River has been flooded that high. That whole road has been washed out. So we'll see. I'm hoping by, I'd like to see tomorrow. I'd like to see it open tomorrow, but I have no idea how high it is down there. But they're talking probably Thursday by the time the river gets down to what they consider flood level, because I think we're still a foot or so above flood level. So anyway, enough about that. I'm just going to go through and sanding. I'm sanding, getting stuff ready to cover as I work my way up to the front. I'm taking care of the little, whatever you want to call these things. They're kind of like longerons in a way. So let's call them that. So I'm sanding them down so when it gets covered, because you're going to see these things, that's where the covering is going to touch the side. So I want to make sure that anything like this little thing, there was a little filler that was done right here, because this was the tragically broken side. I'm going to keep this the way it is, but I'm going to sand things down and make sure that I feel it's strong enough to hold the covering on it. If push comes to shove, I may just put another backer of spruce or whatever on the back side of this and just glue it in place just to strengthen it up. Just because the last thing I want, it'll probably be plywood, it probably won't be spruce, just because I really don't want that to break, because I don't want to have to cover the plane again because it's an expensive covering job. And this is don't know if I showed you, these are some old packs back when it was cheap. This is SIG coverall. So I've got 3, maybe 4 packages of coverall, because I know I've got 3 full packs. Here's a nice little chunk of coverall, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. The coverall is a fabric. It almost kind of looks like, let's get a little closer. It almost kind of looks like fiberglass in a way, but coverall is the same kind of material, because you can use seconite too, which is very much like this. It's the same kind of material they used to cover real airplanes. So that's the way she's getting covered. So I've got that, and I've got this other stuff called Polytack, I think I told you about. Just haven't used it before, and I'm still debating on whether I want to do it that way or be called a wuss and just get some more sticks it from SIG, because I've used that stuff before and it works really nice. It's almost like a glue that you put on, and when it sets up, all you do is you hold your material over it, give it a nice little taut, not a lot, just a little bit, just to get the major wrinkles out. Hit it with a covering iron, and it just bonds right to it, and it's done. So, and what that does is when you put the nitrate dope on top of it, it adheres to that adhesive, and it kind of blends everything in. It looks really good when it's done. But I'm probably going to try the Polytack, because I haven't used that before. So I'll bring you guys, I'll put together a real quick little video on setting up a test board, because I'll set up a test board, because I learned the very first big biplane I did that you really have to be very careful on how you do this stuff, because if you don't have the fabric filled to begin with, what you're doing is using a couple coats of nitrate dope, and then you're going to mix either talcum powder, cornstarch, whatever you want to put in it. Talcum powder is lighter. You put it in the nitrate dope, and what it does is it fills the weave. It fills the holes in the weave. Because the problem I had was I didn't have enough, because you got to put 2 or 3 coats. I like to put at least 3 coats of nitrate dope on the wood just to seal the wood. Because if you don't do a good job with the wood, and then you don't have the weave filled, as soon as you spray paint it, it sticks really nicely to the suspended fabric. But wherever you're touching the wood, it just sucks the paint right into it, so it just looks like crap. Then you end up having to pretty much shoot primer over it and then throw on another coat or two, so the plane ends up being heavier if you screw it up. So I pretty much got all my problems got straightened out with that Piper Cub, so I got a really good idea how to do it now, so that's how we'll do it again. Alright, anyway, enough of me babbling. I will sit down here and sand for probably about another, because we got to be coming up on, yeah, we're at 8 o'clock now, so I'll probably sand for, I don't know, maybe another 10 minutes. Just get some, maybe you know what I'll do? I'll cut the wood. I'll cut both sides because it's going to be the same thickness for both sides. So maybe I'll rip the wood, get the two pieces, not cut to length, but at least cut the thickness. I'll get this side cut to length. I'm not going to glue it in yet. I'll save this fun work for you know, for nights, because it's just going to be short nights. And I don't know if I'll bring it back every night. I might just bring it back in, you know, Wednesday afternoon, because I got some stuff to do, like, you know, go out and have fun on Wednesday. I'm going to try to fly. I think the weather's going to be good. So I'll give you a little heads up, fill you in on what's on where I'm at the next time I see you. Hold on tight.